Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a smooth and functional stamina bar in Unreal Engine 5. A lot of the videos I've come across haven't explained things super well, and the functionality is broken a lot of times, and there's some bugs where, for example, I came across one where whenever you stopped running and you weren't out of stamina, so if you're at like 50% stamina and you stopped running, you couldn't continue to run. So obviously that's not something we want to happen, not super functional. And also the other big problem is that the stamina bar progress or transition, however you want to call it, is not smooth. It is like very like choppy, and it just doesn't look that great. So we're gonna cover both those things today and make it look really good and functional. So I just have a standard first person project open, and this is just a standard first person character. The only thing that I've changed was the character max walk speed to 500, and yeah, so we're gonna keep things pretty simple. I think the default is 600, but I changed it to 500 for simplicity's sake later on. So we're gonna have to create some variables. We're gonna create one called walk speed. Let's change that to a float. We're going to have a run speed, and we're going to have a stamina. These are all floats. And then we're going to have a is running, which is a bool. Whenever you create a bool, I find it very helpful to make it phrase as a question, right? So you're saying is running question mark essentially. Find that it just makes sense for bools. I don't know, that's maybe just me, but it just makes sense. So we're gonna start off by creating a custom event. We're gonna call it use stamina. And we're gonna start off by getting our stamina. And we're gonna subtract. We're gonna do -5. I find that 5 is a pretty decent number for draining our stamina. It just works for me, but you can mess around with that number as much as you want and figure out what works best for you. Before I forget, let's set our default value. So stamina is going to be 100, walk speed is going to be 500, and just so it's super noticeable, let's set our run speed to 1000. So those default values are all set. Is running should be default of false, so we should be good there. We're going to get our I'm going to set our stamina now. So this is going to be controlling the subtracting the stamina. We're going to drag out and we're going to get a branch. A cool little trick is if you hold down B, it'll automatically add a branch. We're going to get stam again. We're going to get less than, if I could type, less than or equal to 0. And that will go into our condition. And then we're going to set is running. If that's true, we're going to set is running to false. So what this does is if we hit 0 stamina, we no longer want to run because we are out of stamina. So now we want to grab our character movement component and we want to set max walk speed. And we are going to get our walk speed. Sorry. I keep messing this up. I like to stack like this sometimes. It just makes it a little bit cleaner. Kind of just personal preference, but it's a method that I've learned when I was in school. So I think it doesn't look too bad. It drives some people crazy, but I don't mind it. Anyways, moving on. So that is our use stamina event. So we should be all good there. This will subtract the stamina. If we are out of stamina, then we stop running, and we are no longer running, so we want to set our walk speed back to our walk speed, which is 500, by which we have set here. Now I want to create another custom event. We're going to call this increase stamina. Zoom in a little bit, and we are going to want to start by grabbing our character movement. We are going to get velocity, we're going to drag out from the velocity and get a vector length. And then we're going to get less than or equal to, and we're going to get our walk speed. So all this does is it's checking if the, I'll come back to it in a minute once we get the rest of the functionality, because it'll actually make more sense that way. We're going to get an and boolean, and then we are going to get our stamina, once again, less than, just less than, not less than or equal to, but less than 100, which is our default stamina value. Plug that in. Then we're going to want to get a branch, of course. There we go. Okay. Now if that's true, we are going to want to set our stamina. And we're going to get stamina. And it's going to be the same as what we did to decrease our stamina, but we're going to be adding this time. So once again, I'm just going to use 5 for simplicity's sake. And we are done with our increase in use stamina events. So now I can explain this a little bit better now that this functionality is done and created. So we are getting the player movement, well, the velocity rather, and we are checking if it's less than or equal to our walk speed, and if we have less than 100 stamina. If that's true, we add stam. So all this does really is if we are walking or we are idle because our velocity is less than or equal to our walk speed, so that could be in the range of 0 to 500, and we have less than our maximum stamina, which is 100, then we are adding stamina because we're not at full stamina and we're not running, so we're either walking or idle, so we are adding stamina to our stamina bar. That's all that does. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, so we're done with that. Now we are going to move on and we're going to create our actual sprinting, which is a little bit more complicated, but it's not too bad. We're going to grab left shift. And we are going to start off with a branch. And we're going to grab our stamina. And I'm going to check if it's greater than 0. And if it is, we are going to set is running to true. All this does is if our stamina is greater than 0 and we press and hold down the left shift key, then we are starting to run because we have enough stamina because it's greater than 0. Now we are going to grab our character movement once again. We're going to set max walk speed like this. And this time we're going to be getting the run speed. So we're setting our walk speed because we are running. We are now setting our max walk speed to our run speed because we are now running, if that makes sense. We're going to drag out of here and we're going to get re-triggerable delay. 0.2 seconds, the default is absolutely fine. And then we're going to call our use stamina function that we created not too long ago. Now we're going to drag out of here and we are going to get a branch. Our condition is going to be is running. And if it's true, we're going to loop back all the way back to here. And then, let's see, there we go. So we kind of see where the line's going. Makes it a little bit more clean. Not perfect, but good for now. So that is done. Now we want to set up the functionality for when we are no longer holding down shift. So first, we want to set our run speed, or not run speed, but our running. We are no longer running, so is running should be set to false. Let's drag that down a little bit. We're going to copy this just for time's sake, but we are setting, since we're no longer running, we are getting walk speed instead of run speed. Easy peasy. Okay. And we are also going to do a re-triggerable delay. Once again, 0.2 is fine. Now we are going to call our increase stamina function. And once again, do a branch. Condition is also going to be is running. And this time, instead of coming out of true, we're going to go to false and drag it to the beginning of set max walk speed. And something like that. And now, let's double check. We are all good here. So we have our sprinting and our stamina control functionality all set. So now we just need to be able to display the stamina. So we're gonna hurry up and create a widget. If I can find it, use interface. WBP underscore player UI. So let's open that. Let's insert a canvas panel. And then let's add a progress bar. Let's just anchor this to the bottom, 0, 0, and then let's make it 110. Let's do a size of like 350, I think is good. 0.5, yep, there we go, 0.5 for the alignment. And let's just change the color to like, first let's set our percent we want to start as full. Let's change the color to like orange, something like that. It's good enough for now. Not too concerned about the color at the moment. Now we're going to go to the percent, create a binding. Should see something that looks similar to this. And now we are going to cast to first person BP first person character, right? Yes. We're gonna convert to a pure cast. Our object is gonna be get player character. We are referencing our player. Now from there we're gonna want to get our stamina. We do actually need to create a variable inside of here before I forget. We call this display stam. That is going to be a float. We do not need to set any default values. Then we're going to grab from our stamina from our player. We're going to divide. And the reason we're going to divide by 100. The reason we do this is because we set our default value for stamina to be 100. And if you go into the designer, the max percent is 1. So we need to divide by 100 to get the correct values, if that makes sense. From here, we're actually going to get a lerp float, and inside we're going to get stam, our display stam. That is going to go inside of A, where our division is going to go into B. I found the good number for the alpha is 0.025. This will control how smooth the progress bar is. I find this is a pretty good number. Anything lower or higher looks a little weird. This is kind of the number I found to be pretty good and looks pretty nice and pretty smooth, as we'll see here in a second. So we're going to get either return value. Actually, let's do this. We're going to set our display stamina. This goes here. This is going to go here, here, and here. So I know this isn't the best organization just because we're going quick, but we should be good. The only thing, before I forget, we need to do is go back to our player blueprint, event begin play. We need to create the widget, otherwise we're not going to see anything. We want to drag and select our player UI. I always promote this as a variable, so we have a reference if we need to later on, player UI reference. So now we need to go add to viewport, save, okay. We should be good, so let's see. We have our stamina bar. We are walking, obviously it's not draining because we're walking. We are running, it is draining. It hits 0, and we stop running. We are idle, and walking or idle, and it's moving. It's regenerating stamina. And as you see, we can stop running halfway through. It starts to regen, but we can also start running without any issues. Now it's at 0, so it stopped running. But yeah, pretty simple stuff. It is a functional working stamina bar. There's a slight tweak or tweaks that could be made, but I think this is a pretty good start, and hopefully this helps you guys get a stamina bar working for your game. I know a lot of people have struggled with this. I struggled with it for a while as well, and I was finally able to get a result and some functionality that I was very happy with. So I'm glad I'm able to share that with you guys, and hopefully this is something that works for your game as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, please leave a like and considering subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much.